Let's talk about Vecna real quick. I'm seeing some online chatter saying he might be redeemed. He's not really a bad guy. The Mind Flayer is really the one behind the scenes. I mean, I guess it's cool, whatever. But let's not forget the children that he killed in season 4, when he was in the Rainbow Room, whatever. He killed a lot of people. So I don't see how this show is going to try and redeem him or give him a little redemption arc, like, oh, it wasn't really him, or his inner child or his true inner being is stuck and like he's inside this outer shell of Vecnism, and Vecnerism is just doing whatever under the puppetry of Mind Flayer, or the Mind Flayer has him under control, and the more he kills, the stronger he gets to break away from the Mind Flayer, and he's trying to do all these rituals to gain more power to take over the Mind Flayer so he can finally defeat the Mind Flayer. So that way he low-key works with 11, Cal, is that Kelly or Cal? Cal, Will, and then they form the 4, with our powers combined, we can finally take down the Mind Flayer. And obviously by him doing that, he's sacrificing himself to defeat the Mind Flayer. Yeah, no.
But why?
No, I don't like that theory at all. That sucks, because you've killed people. All those people who had their bones broken and their eyes gouged out and everything just dried out. You can't undo that. You can't return that. I don't even know how to go, unless they do a time-wimey time travel thing. Maybe if that's what they do, and you bring back everyone that you killed, then I don't know how they're gonna do that one, because them children, he wiped out children in the freaking laboratory Rainbow Room thing location. He killed innocent children. Now, however, the bullies don't count, because them motherfuckers had it coming to them. Those guys, they put L through it. So the bullies, they don't count. But everyone else, the other children, those people were under Papa's, whatever his name is. They were under that was prison. Despite the whatever training was making you stronger, that was prison, because he tricked women to come partake in some scheme or some health thing whilst injecting Vecna's blood or Henry's blood into that's vile. That's not even manipulation. That's something else. That is absolutely vile. So Brenner, that's his name, right? Him and Vecna, they're both trash to me. If you're going to try and humanize or get us to sympathize with Henry, then you might as well get us to sympathize with Brenner as well. Both of them are vile. Yes, one is who he is because of the other, of course. But at least the one who was tortured and abused and traumatized by Brenner should at least realize, hey, if I this path that I'm on, if I continue, I'm not only as bad as Brenner, I'm worse than Brenner.
That's right.
Or you could argue that he had to kill the children because they would have turned out to be future threats. So he saw the future, and that's why he killed him. That's probably another way. But that's a stretch, though, man. That is a stretch, because you seeing that future doesn't mean you can change that future, unless you're saying it's a fixed point, it's unchangeable. So they could make him the hero in that Loki sense, where it's like, yo, I foresaw a really dark future. So he's like the lesser of two evil. He had to do what he did to all those children because he saw that they turned out to be, if he did his Doctor Strange thing, he tried to see a better outcome for each child, and it's like he couldn't see any good, positive outcome. But then that story doesn't land well, because we saw how Elle turned out. So if Elle could turn out the way she did, then there's a massive possibility that the other children could. Now, this is just me saying that in case the show decides to say, oh, that this is why Vecna, aka Henry, chose to kill those children. Let's not forget his parents. I mean, dude, fair enough, again, Mind Flayer and whatnot. Yeah, but it's going to be a massive stretch to convince the audience that the Mind Flayer was doing this all this time. And if it's truly the Mind Flayer, then why did he give 11 this spiel about being the one who had the power to control the upside down particles, and then he became the master of it? Because it makes it look like the Mind Flayer was just there as an entity without any purpose or function, just present. And then it took a human Victor Cree to come in. Is it Creel or Cree?
A few moments later.
It took a human Vecna to come in, or to be pushed in by 11, then control the particles, and then give it purpose or use it to and act his own purpose. Then the next thing you gotta ask is, okay, so who created the particles? Who created that dimension? If we're using the whole supreme being of God, for like a better term, then what was the purpose of creating the mind flare particles, only to just exist in that dimension for however long it's been there, only for Vecna to then come in and give it purpose or shape it to become, I mean, the first half is already dropped and I already gave my review 5.5 out of 10. It's okay. It's okay. I was expecting 1 or 2 deaths early on.
You serious?
Yes.
That would have given this extra oomph the show needed, especially if you compare it to Welcome to Derry. That show so far isn't pulling any punches. In some episodes it's a little chilled, yes, but so far it's not pulling any punches. They're not playing. They're straight up raw. They're not wasting any time. They're giving it to you good and proper. Good and proper for a first season. So that's why there's a hint of disappointment with the Duffer Brothers for their 5th and final season, especially with the first half. You had 4 episodes to have at least, put a death or snuck a death in there somewhere. Just sneak it in there somewhere. So Vecna being redeemed at the end, you have to do some serious cosmic redemption. Cosmic redemption. Those children are dead. You have to convince the audience to say, hey,
Let me explain.
only he could see a future that no one else could. And he did his Doctor Strange thing, couldn't see any positive outcome. But then that would clash with 11's outcome, because 11 is not running around trying to kill the president and trying to dominate the world. She's just being a regular girl with superpowers. So hopefully they have a good way to end this. I mean, even if I'm personally not looking for the good side of Vecna. Redeem him or not redeem him. Heal this inner child from the trauma he experienced for sure. We still got to get us on board with that and then understand, okay, cool, this is what really happened. But we're not gonna forget. Well, I'm personally not gonna forgive him for all the deaths he's created, partaken. He's caused. It's no. Especially now that he's taken 12 children. This seems like a ritual he's trying to. He's hell bent on performing. Unless you want to argue that the ritual is supposed to bring him back to his humanity. If the truth is the mind flare is really behind all these things, and even the spiel that he gave to 11 was a misdirect, or was the mind flare letting him think he was in charge all this time, then cool. But the 12 children he's trying to get together right now, that's ritual 101. So it's not 5 children, not 4 children. I mean, you could say 1 child, 2 children. A ritual is a ritual. Whatever the number is, a ritual is still a ritual. To have them in a circular formation, tentacles in their mouth, that sounds nasty. And then they're all under this hyper thing. By the way, side note, the whole mind space thing is pretty cool, because in the Upside Down, it looks all disgusting and gunky and whatnot. I hope the explanation they have for that and why it's there. I feel if it's a regular dimension that's just there, like a parallel dimension, just like the Poltergeist movie. It's a parallel dimension that exists, for the whole of Earth. Hence Upside Down. Just a negative realm, for lack of a better term. Then cool, but to say it spawned out of existence due to 11 and Vecna, I feel that's pushing it. But again, they already dropped 4 episodes, and I was okay with some of them. But the 4th one was the fire one. I feel you could have dropped the first one. Have the Demogorgon come in, kidnap Holly, and then have one of the 2 parents die right at the end of the first episode.
Come on, son.
Then the second episode, you start dealing with the ramifications of that one. We're looking for Holly. You throw in the Dustin thing. Dustin and Steve's bickering, stupid.
Hold on.
Absolutely stupid. I feel Steve should have helped Dustin with those 2 douchebag bullies or 3 douchebag bullies. He must be great. After what they all experienced, they should have been like, yo, from now on, we all stick together. And even if Dustin was like, I don't need you being my shadow, whatever. Anybody troubles you because you've got bigger fish to fry, my fam.
You ain't lying.
So each time they asked Dustin what happened to you, his nose is bleeding, he said he rode his bike and he fell flat on his face. Come on, those are cues for you guys to know, yeah, it's the bullies. And then maybe Steve should be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you fell off the bike. Cut the scene, next scene, Steve is like, yo, you touch my boy one more time, I will break arms and legs.
You don't understand.
I will break arms and legs, because you just want to show how serious they are.
That's right.
Because they're dealing with bigger things and they won't be able to fathom it. You don't grab up a small, a young teen like that. Three of you, big-bodied teenagers or whatever age you want to call them, and then lay combos on a nah. This is not like it's Welcome to Derry where everyone's under this subtle mind control of Pennywise, and he just wants to cause more disorder and disharmony and pain and anger and suffering so he can feed off all the negativity. No. And this show hasn't hinted that Vecna gets more stronger the more negativity goes on, the more arguments go on. No. So I feel they should have at least applied some level of pressure from Steve and the other people, even Nancy, because they're giving the Sarah Connor role to Nancy. So you might as well just show that someone is present to at least assist Dustin in this situation, because this shouldn't be happening, period. This whole thing should not be happening at all. Yes, they're upset, blah, 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 but we, the viewers, know what's going on. Dustin knows what's going on. Everyone else knows what's going on. So to sit there and try to explain something so grand and beyond the regular human comprehension, it's a doable thing, but eventually it's a waste of time because these people are operating with their intention to cause Dustin harm. So I feel since it's a darker season, final season, and everything feels really tense, you got the whole town quarantined by the army. There's tentacles hiding there. Demogorgons are tearing, different dimensional portholes and doorways with ease. Yeah, I feel they should have at least written Steve or Nancy or anyone. No, I wouldn't say the other boys. No, I feel Steve or Nancy or even Jonathan to just step in and say, you touch this dude one more time, without a doubt, you will end up in hospital. Damn. That's why I said earlier in my previous video, you find a darker way to deal with it or a lighter way to deal with it. So maybe the Demogorgons come out and they try to hurt the bullies, and then maybe Dustin saves the bullies from Demogorgon. I guess. But you laid hands on me. I gotta balance the scales, man. I'm sorry. No sorry, but we gotta balance the scales. In here for no goody two shoes nonsense. You laid hands. You had two boys hold a teen back, and then you threw combos. To do that willingly, with your willpower, with your strength, and with intention from your heart, from your soul, if you have one. Willingly? Yes. And you enjoy each combo. You're not even thinking to yourself, this is bad. Let me take it to the hospital. You do it more and more. Nah, you are written off. Even the two people who held them back are as equally as bad as the one who threw the blows. Because, no. I'm trying to psych my own self out. Nope. Steve should have been there, laying some combos. You touch him again, you're going to end up in a coma. That's right. You will end up in a coma if you trouble this boy again, because this dude is going through a lot. And everyone's doing their own thing. But at least I feel they should have had a little sit down. Dustin is going through something for sure. And these guys are attacking this dude. We can't let this happen. We know what Eddie meant to him. And I mean, he only knew Eddie how long compared to everyone else, compared to the boys that he knew since growing up. So it's the Duffer Brothers trying to find this little excuse to keep him off, certain episodes for a while. I get it, it's cool, but I still feel it's not strong writing, in my opinion. For me anyway, for my satisfaction, it's not strong enough writing, because in a real world scenario, if I was in Steve's position or Jonathan's position, actually scratch that, if I was Steve, I would have my eyes on Dustin all the time. And I wouldn't even try to get him to tell me the truth. Or did they bully you? You can tell somebody got pummeled. You can tell. So school rules, nah, because teachers ain't doing shit. Teachers aren't doing nothing. There's no security guard. There's no help. There's no assistant from the school. I will step in and say, okay, cool. You rode a bicycle. You landed, face flat on the ground. Sure thing, buddy. When you're not looking, I'm going to the school where the boys stalk him and lay into him. Yes. Lay into them. Or maybe they could have written Steve and Jonathan going together. This is where they could have formed their bond rather than doing this whole macho what's the name? Fucking boring bullshit. They could have gone together and say, yo, this dude is going through a lot of pain. I feel we need to handle it. Because he can't. He will attempt to, but they're bullies. Funny enough, we're dealing with interdimensional bully as well, who's killing people. Nice. So they're practically on the path of ending up like Vecna, whether or not there's a mind flare controlling them or not. It makes no difference. They're not as bad as Vecna, but they're on the same path to becoming major villains. And you could argue if you go and beat them up, they could end up more angry. Couldn't give two horse shits, because you're satisfied with having your boys hold back a teenage boy so you can lay combos. You were cool with your teammate or your team leader from season 4 carrying a magnum You guys had some weapons on you, so you already psyched your mind. You're ready for action. We'll show you action. So when there's a grand scheme, a greater threat behind closed doors, you know, pulling moves that we're trying to figure out, we're doing the crawl, we're trying to figure out where he is and all this stuff. And then one of our friend's sister got kidnapped by a Demogorgon into a interdimensional world. No, scratch that. Pause. Where the boy's at, lay some good combos, put him in a good coma, so that way they are less of a distraction to Dustin. Then we can put our focus fully on this mission. But anyways, that's my twist on that writing there. I don't know if I want Vecna redeemed. I don't know.
But why?
How do you guys feel? What do you think? What do you feel? What would you like to see? I personally just feel like if you're gonna make the guy a villain, make him a villain. But I feel once you remove all the gunk, his inner child is at peace, and you deal with the mind flare. I don't even know if I want them, because how do you rectify ending an entity that is all particles? This thing can enter each and every one of them if it wants to. That's if Vecna is really controlled by the mind flare. So maybe each kill, Vecna is trying to get super strong or stronger than the mind flare to take over. But this idea of I want the world to be reshaped in my own idea sounds like, you know, another entity talking through this human vessel. That's why I want to do a separate video about that monologue he gave in season 4 and recently in season 5. Beautiful. One or two lines. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Good, you know. Sure thing, gauntlet and half the whole population of the, you know, infinite galaxy. Yeah, sure thing, buddy. You can triple the quantity of food you're saying is less, whatever. But okay, Thanos. Yeah. So I feel, yeah, I don't know. I feel that you gotta end them good, because if you're saying a mind flare is in charge, then you gotta find a way to fully seal off that dimension once and for all. Because how can mind flayers never find a way to take over any other person in the vicinity? It seemed to go, it's gone for Will and Henry. But why not anyone else? Just like Pennywise, you can take over the whole town. Why not just do whatever you want to do? What's limiting his powers that it only chose Will, and then when the particle got pushed out from Will, why didn't it find multiple hosts? The same way it took over the town in season 3, but that was a whole convoluted thing. Anyway, let me know in the comments how you want them to end Mr. Vecna. Do you want him to be redeemed, or do you like him as the main villain? Are you cool with the mind flare pulling the strings, or are you cool with Vecna being the main final boss?
That's a good question.
Let a brother know in the comment section. I've of course been your one and only Multipotentialite, Neurodivergent host,
the Kosmic Jedi, signing out. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.